I'm often asked these questions, and it's actually very, very frequently, in the past few days, I've noticed that there are similarities in the number of questions or the type of questions that are being asked by my clients. Largely, like I said, it relates to relationships, but then a little more, people are, inquiring, what is this life about? What happens, life after death? The spirituality, relationships. There's so much that is going on in people's minds these days, and I in fact have covered every one of these subjects on different videos. So for those of you who are interested, you can just go down and click on my link and you will get all the videos. But I want to try and amalgamate all this together in as short a video as I can to get a message across. Talking about life and death and then karma and all that kind of things, the very basics, like I said, is we're so involved in understanding everything that is going on outside in the outside world. But the very fundamental basic thing we forget is about this body of ours, right? Now, to understand what happens, we need to understand the mechanisms, the mechanics, the construction of this body. And I'm going to try to put it as simplified as one can. There are various elements that form the structure of this entire being of ours. There are the physical aspects and the non-physical aspects of life. Now, when you talk about the physicalities, there is, let us call it, the physical body, which is the food that we eat to make this structure that we have. Then there is the mental body, which carries all the thoughts and all that we think and do in our life, which is the mental body. And then there is the energy body, right, which carries every bit of the energy of every cell, every atom, everything, which is what we would refer to as the pranic body. All three of them are combined to call or make up what we would say the physical body or the physical structure of our being, right? Beyond this, there are other elements, right, which if we combine, there could be 2, 3, 4 of those other elements, but I'm going to just combine them for the purpose of this video in short. It's called the blissfulness, right? This is the bliss body, all right? So what really happens? People often think that, okay, once you pass on, you're either cremated or you're buried or whatever. So it's like they say in the Christianity, dust to dust, right? Or when you cremate a body, it becomes ashes. So by and large, what we're saying is that this physical body, everything that we have accumulated from Mother Earth goes back to Earth. It's a complete new cycle that takes place, right? However, when it comes to the mind and to the energy bodies, these are physical in nature, but cannot be seen, cannot evaporate, right? And this body, which we call as the energy body and the mental body, is actually what is referred to the karmic structure. This is what we call as the karmic structure. For the layman, we call it, our soul, Aatma, all that kind of stuff. But soul is really a very fictional thing. It's the karmic structure which carries on. All right. So this karma or the karmic structure carries on and moves on in life. Now, as I've covered in previous videos, we all come into this human journey. It's a spiritual being coming and going through this human journey to complete the karmic cycle, right? The whole purpose is to complete a karmic cycle. Now, let's say, during this lifestyle, or lifespan, we only complete a little bit of the karma that we were supposed to do. And there is a lot of residual effect. In other words, when this physical body passes on, right, the intensity that is left within the amount of karma that is left within that energy body and the mental body is so great that for this body now, or this karmic structure, to find another body, to get into another body, to get a rebirth, could take a very, very, very long time, because you have to find a suitable body to get into it. So what happens? This again we refer to as ghosts. Now, are they ghosts? No, there's spirits out there who have not completed their karmic process, but their intensity of that karma is so strong that they tend to be visible in different forms. So they're not ghosts, there's just energy forms out there. However, conversely, if the karmic karma that you were supposed to complete had diminished, you had almost completed it, one, you will have an easier, peaceful life and slow death, right? And for you to finish the residual amount of it would be much faster, much easier, and therefore I guess the rebirth would happen very fast, right? So this basically is all about, the karmic structure, and not about the soul, as we refer. So it's just this whole ball, if you want to say that, let's take an example of maybe, you're coming down on a parachute, right? And the parachute is up there with the, picking up all the air. Now, if you were to puncture this parachute, what would happen? The air that's holding this up would just merge with the rest of the atmosphere, and that's it. That's precisely what would essentially happen, that if the karma, the cycle, the ball, the structure of the karma was to be dismantled, taken away completely, right? We would merge with this entire universe, right? And that is precisely what spirituality leads to. We all think that spirituality is, we refer to it sometimes loosely as becoming in oneness with the universe. That's precisely what it is. Getting in oneness to the universe, right? Because your energies have now merged. That is the purpose. That is what spirituality is all about. Now, how does this help in good relationships and healthy relationships? When you come into a state of oneness, understanding, and saying that this what we have around of accumulation of materialism and everything is so superficial, so artificial, we get into the spiritual aspect of that life. You will recall in one of my videos I had referred to this couple, right? Chris and Sav, right? Now, Chris and Sav had their issues, but they ironed it out. Why is it so? Because they understood that beyond this physicality of life, beyond the material aspect of life, there was the soul, there was this Aatma, there was this energy connection. And they built that strong bonding, that strong energy bonding with each other. Earlier, what was happening? They were lying to each other. They were white lies, if you want to say. They were hiding things from each other, doing things, not telling the other person, about one thing or the other, or he will get hurt or she will get hurt, and they were doing this. But that's a lie. In healthy relationships, you have to be complete, you have to communicate clearly, you have to stop lying, and that's what happens, because that is living in the materialist world. But when they got beyond that, into the energy thing, they started sharing everything, and they found that the unity, the unison of love was far greater than just hiding things and not being superficial about the whole thing. That's precisely what I'm trying to communicate. That once you go beyond the physical needs, the material needs of this life, and start recognizing everything the way it is, for what it is, the energy that it has, you will find that there is such a lot more to understand, to appreciate, right? And bring about, therefore, the blissfulness in your lives. So my friends, I've tried to merge as much as I can together out here, but you know, when the body dies, like I said, it's your Aatma that carries the karmic structure, which goes out, and it's not a soul, you know. Soul, Aatma, like I said, is a very loose term that we use. It's basically the karmic structure that is there. And once this is completed, the karmic journey is completed, the entire being, whether it is the physical form or the energy form or the mental form or whatever it is, merges with the bigger aspect of life, which is the universe. I hope I've been able to answer a few of the questions to my larger audience out there. So till next time, keep smiling and God bless.